Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another issue of Mortal Realms magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, and it goes a long way to helping the channel out as well. Now, without further ado, we're on issue 59. So 21 issues left of the magazine, and there is still some great stuff to come, so keep an eye out for them. In this issue though, we have the other two evocators on the Celestial Dracoline. So we already had the one a few weeks ago, so if you have painted that one up, just paint these ones to match and it will look spot on. If you haven't painted it, paint them up all around the same time so you don't forget what colours you're using. So do it as a batch painting system, so use one colour per time and paint all of the models at the same time essentially, and have it like kind of like a rotating round. By the time you've painted up the last one, the first one that you painted should be pretty much dry if you do it in that system, and then you can just put the next layer on, do the same and the same and the same. The only time it will be different is if you're using contrast paints, or shades, where it might take a little bit longer and you might have all three done ready and be ready to kind of progress, but you have to wait a little while for it to dry. Just bear that in mind, have fun with it. If you've got the weather, which it's been a bit cold in the UK, spray paint it if you wish to as well, and it'll make your life a lot easier for getting going with it if you want. But definitely options, very good units to have as well, in all honesty. So they are pretty cool and they fit in very nicely. It's nice to see some nice new mounted Stormcast Eternal units. Going into the issue itself, we are greeted by the Knights Excelsior. So, proud, ruthless and incredibly disciplined, the Knights Excelsior are amongst the most exacting of the Stormcast Eternals. They are known for their careful formation-based tactics, fighting in tightly drilled units to bring down the enemy. The incredible discipline of the Knights Excelsior sometimes manifests as chains of celestial lightning that surround the storm host's most powerful warriors. So, with the Knights Excelsior, one of the other storm hosts, one of the many storm hosts in Sigmar's armies, are pretty cool. They have some very unique specialities, being purification, formation tactics and utter annihilation. They are very drilled and very honed to fighting and stuff like that. Pretty cool looking as well. So the artwork doesn't really do them justice. When you see kind of like how the models are painted up a bit closer up, they are very nicely done, and they are pretty nice as well. With these ones, if you do want to do this storm host, just bear in mind the iconography on your shoulder pads and stuff like that will need to be changed and will need to be different from the usual hammer and lightning symbol that we get. A couple of ways you could do this if you wanted to do it. One, you can try and file and smooth off the actual icon that is currently on shields. Very tricky to do, and I would not recommend it if you are a beginner and you've never done something like that before, or you're not willing to risk damaging things, because it'd be as awkward as hell and it'll take a while as well. Or if you have the opportunity to, you have the access to it or anything like that, if you know somebody who's got it, you can try and 3D print it. If you know somebody who can 3D model the shield or anything like that, you could try and 3D print it. Games Workshop would not agree with it, because they do not like people doing it, but that is the only other real way of doing it. They used to do some shield packs, good old GW dude. I think they've completely stopped them now, so it's a bit awkward to get a hold of them, to kind of fill out them kind of different shield patterns and pauldron patterns and everything like that, which is a shame, because personally I would prefer to see more variations on your Stormcast Eternals and see more people use things like that sun and moon symbol for purification or anything like that, or even something slightly different, something other than the hammer and Galmaraz or anything like that. I'd rather see something a bit more unique and a bit more bit different for a storm host, personally. Moving on, we've got more information about one of the other gods of the forces of order, and that is Grungni. So Grungni is the great maker. So the smith god, Grungni, is a genius crafter and builder. Since the age of myth, this deity has worked tirelessly to create wonders in the mortal realms. Even the ravages of chaos have not diminished his great works. So, in the kind of dawn of the mortal realms in the age of myth, so before the age of chaos and before the age of Sigmar itself, Grungni swore an oath to Sigmar to help make anything the storm god desired. The early cities of Sigmar were filled with miraculous inventions created by the smith god. Grungni gave the greatest gifts to the Dwardin, teaches people how to work metal as they had before the mortal realms began. So for instance in the old world, so tinkerers and everything like that as well as making fantastic weaponry, armours, and even helping produce a lot of these human based cities and everything like that. And all their stonework and everything like that they also did, as well as the metalwork, which was fantastic. The Solar Drake, of course, of Akshi. So the Fire Slayers of Akshi bargained with Grungni to forge great chains of binding. These were used to trap the god beast Ignax. This vast Solar Drake was used as an artificial sun, so that the Dwardin always had light and fire for their enormous forges. So the Fire Slayers in Akshi did actually capture a god beast and use it to kind of produce their forges and everything like that, as the Fire Slayers would in the realm of fire, and yeah, happy days. They'd succeeded with that, and the good old Ignax was actually kind of diminished in a lot of ways in that kind of way a little bit later on. With the Stormcaster tunnels, a bit of tie-in as well to do with them just down here. So Grungni, his greatest work was aiding Sigmar in the creation of the Stormcaster tunnels. So if you're not aware, the Stormcaster tunnels are reforged on the anvil of Apotheosis, and they are kind of, their soul is reformed and reforged and bound in the Sigmarite armour and everything like that. So yeah, Grungni helped create that process and helped create the designs and mechanisms that create Stormcaster Tunnel. So very, very tightly, closely bound with Sigmar in a lot of ways he is. The followers of Grungni, of course, not only including the Fire Slayers, they also include the Dispossessed. So the Dispossessed are the Dwardin who roam the mortal realms and mainly live in the cities of Sigmar himself. They're very much like the they have like iron breakers and stuff like that. So it's mainly the dwarves of the old world kind of style. So if you have a lot of the old world models or anything like that, that's them dwarves. So it's not too bad. And of course the Khadron Overlords, because of course they are Dwardin. They're just different Dwardin. They live in the sky and on sky ships and everything like that, which is pretty cool. But of course, because they use a lot of metal work, Grungni would have taught them at some point. So it's definitely their one of their gods, which is pretty cool. Very, very interesting to have the fact that Grungni is one of the other gods apart from Grimnir. So Grimnir is another deity of the Dwardin as well. Your how to build guide, very, very easy. Follow it step by step. You do not have to follow it precisely because there are different heads for the Stormcast, so choose the head you wish to use by all means. Your painting section, as I said, paint it exactly how you painted the previous Celestial Dracoline. If you haven't done it already, there are some great tips in here, using the washes and everything like that. Personally, as I've said before, I don't like the Cantor Blue for scales. I used Incubi Darkness and Sotek Green, looks far better in my opinion, so give that a try if you haven't already. Yeah, gives you a bit of variation. Just don't forget to, you know, paint up that tongue and stuff like that. I think a few people have actually managed to forget to paint that, and the teeth, which is definitely not stuff that you want to forget with that. And don't forget all your little bits and pieces as well. So all the little trinkets that are hanging off the braces and harnesses and everything like that on the Dracoline itself. Don't forget them, and don't forget things like the Spirit Flask as well, and the Crystal Vial that is being carried and you can get some very, very nice looks out of it all, and it will do very, very good for you. So give it a try, have fun with it, and enjoy your painting. And don't forget that little lizard on the base and a few other bits and pieces as well on that base of that one. And of course you've got the war scroll for the evocators on Celestial Dracolions. Don't forget they have Tempest Blade, which can be attached to the back. If you don't attach it, you can't really use it because it's not on the model, so don't forget to attach that onto the back of your Stormcast Eternal. Storm Staves, they can have a Grand Stave, so one of them can have a Grand Stave if you wish them to, and of course the Celestial Dracolion itself has the Monstrous Claws. These are wizard units, so they do have some spells like Celestial Lightning Arc, Thunderous Pounce, Supernatural Roar can be used as well, and they can empower other comrades as well with that, so give it a try. And it gives you the details of how to use Empower as well on there, as well as, you know, you save rolls in Immortal Runes for Celestial Arc, Lightning Arc as well. The actual battle plan is the hero's call, and of course this is your Nighthaunt versus Stormcast Eternals. So have fun with it. It's a pretty decent one. You can choose your Nighthaunt heroes, so you can, or your Stormcast hero, choose from the list, and it's only one from that list, don't forget. Get your free battle mats out, and yeah, enjoy yourself pretty much with that one. Have fun with it, you can't go wrong. Don't forget as well, so from issue 61 we're going to the realm of Akshi, so 2 issues away from that now. We will get some pretty cool stuff, so yeah, keep an eye out for it. And yeah, new battle mat as well. Issue 58, apparently we got a battle mat. I personally didn't. I definitely didn't, unless I'm remembering wrongly, but I definitely didn't get a battle mat with that one. So I'm not too sure what's happened there, but you know, some pretty cool stuff coming up for it. So the idea is that you start using 4 battle mats and everything like that if you wish to. Next week we've got 5 Bladeghast Revenants as well. Very cool units, very different than the Nighthaunt as well, with having them long blades. Very, very cool. And then issue 61 we have the Sigmar altar and bridges as well to use. If we get all the scenery pieces for that, you can link them over them, that altar going on to other bits and pieces as well. If we get all of it, who knows if we will or not. So yeah, with that, I'm going to have to check if we did actually get an extra battle mat with last week's issue. I don't remember it, but you know, I've been to sleep since then and probably had a drink or 2. But yeah, who knows? I'm going to double check. But yeah, fun times. Right, thank you very, very much for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.